If you thought baseball's dead ball era was a thing of the past, think again. Nearly a month into the 2022 campaign, offense is down dramatically across Major League Baseball. We're talking runs, homers, hits. They're all at their lowest levels in years, some of them at historical lows. And now speculation is starting to swirl that the league might have once again tinkered with the baseball itself. There's a lot to unpack here, but we've got you covered. So sit back, relax, and take this in. The drama surrounding the baseballs used in the big leagues has been percolating for years now. Back in 2019, pitchers everywhere bemoaned that the balls had been juiced as hitters smashed the league's previous single-season home run record set during the height of the steroid era. MLB, it should be noted, bought Rawlings, the company that manufactures big league baseballs, the year prior. Eventually, the league admitted that the balls used in 2019 had less drag than before, though they denied intentionally juicing the baseballs in an attempt to inject more offense into the game. Then, last year, the league came under fire again for ball-related shenanigans. After vowing to use a more deadened ball for the 2021 campaign, MLB again provoked the ire of its players by actually using two different balls, one livelier, one deader, in a move the league attributed to a manufacturing issue caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Cut to 2022, and the league is once again facing criticism for its baseballs. Based on the early season numbers, some suspect they might have overcorrected in the wake of the juiced ball era. Through the first 3+ weeks of the 2022 campaign, offense is down in virtually every way. Through May 2nd, teams were averaging just 4.04 runs per game, a drop-off of nearly a half run per game from 2021, and the lowest mark the league has seen since 1981. Meanwhile, homers are down in a big way too, with teams averaging less than a homer per game for the first time since 2014. Year over year, homers are down roughly 25%, and that's after adding the universal DH and in spite of the fact that the league used a deadened ball for a good portion of 2021. And as for hits, they're harder than ever to come by. Through May 2nd, teams were averaging only 7.64 base knocks per game, the lowest mark ever. Meanwhile, the league-wide batting average of .232 also represents an all-time low. Now, in fairness, there's a bevy of factors potentially fueling that decline. For one, increased use of defensive shifts could also be contributing to offense shriveling up. Maybe the installation of humidors at all 30 ballparks in an attempt to standardize the conditions in which the baseballs are stored has played a role in the dip too. Maybe hitters are still getting their timing down after an abbreviated spring training. And maybe the sample size is simply too small, and offense levels will normalize in time. Still, those factors notwithstanding, people around the game haven't been shy about expressing their consternation about the baseball itself early on in the 2022 campaign. It just seems like something's different, as Los Angeles Dodgers manager Dave Roberts put it in mid-April, noting that he'd already seen a handful of balls that should have left the yard ultimately fall short of the wall. Meanwhile, Toronto Blue Jays right-hander Alek Manoah recently said that some of the balls are a little squishier than usual, and even went so far as to liken the new ball to a sponge. Let's look at an example. Back on April 13th, Giancarlo Stanton clobbered what looked like a game-tying home run off of Trevor Richards in the 8th inning at Yankee Stadium. The fastball he walloped to left field came off his bat at nearly 101 miles per hour, with a launch angle of 27 degrees. Now, over the previous 2 seasons, right-handed batters pulled 17 batted balls with a launch angle of 27 degrees and an exit velocity between 100 and 101 miles per hour. Of those 17 batted balls, 15 left the yard and 2 went for doubles. In other words, every one of those batted balls went for extra bases, and crucially, none of them turned into outs. Except when Stanton hammered that Richards fastball, this is what happened.
Here's the 1-0. Swung on, there it goes. Deep left center. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone. But caught. At the wall. Caught by Tapia. Boy, I thought that was gone.
You're not alone, John. Everyone else in the stadium and watching on TV thought it was gone off the bat too. Instead though, it died on the warning track in one of the smallest ballparks in the big leagues. And there's plenty more evidence that balls aren't flying like they used to. 3 weeks into the season, less than 41% of barreled balls, that is, balls with an optimized exit velocity and launch angle, were leaving the yard. Over the previous 7 seasons, barreled balls went for homers nearly 57% of the time. That's a significant drop-off. So while there may be environmental and strategic factors fueling the dip in offense, it's not hard to see why the players out on the field would be suspicious of the ball itself. And until the league addresses it, or hits, runs, and dingers start becoming more plentiful, the suspicion is only going to continue. But what do you think? Did the league mess with the ball again? Or will offense numbers normalize as the weather warms up? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. As always, we appreciate you. We'll see you next time.